Well, we finally decided to give up our catch bin over at second base. The wire was too short and the holes were too big and we were losing too many pigs, so we come over here by the wood line and decided to build us a new pen. It's 50 inches tall now. I put some corn out just to try and coax the pigs to come in before we put any wire up, and sure enough, they obliged me that very night. They started coming over there and woofing that whole trough down. So we decided to move the wire into place and get the old fence post and fence post pounder out there and get busy. So we pulled the panels around, wired them all together, and got it all put together, and then we decided we'd go ahead and take our 6-inch pipe feeders out of the old pen and move them over and get them wired up nice and tight and fill them up with corn. Now the setup is the same. We got the saloon doors, and the trigger wire comes up to 2 lift poles, and then it goes through that carabiner, comes 90 degrees down straight to the bottom of that post, and it goes through a little eye hook in the end of that trough. You can kind of see it a little bit, a little red kind of fishing line right there, and then that runs right across the center of that trough. And then there's a little space of about 3.5 foot, kind of a pinch point where an animal would come through there and trip that. It's about 18 inch high. Well, the darn coons got into it the first few nights. Man, we got coons just every which where. And of course they shut the door. And then when the pigs show up, there's nothing for them to eat, so they lose interest real quick. So we had to take some drastic measures and get the coons out of there. So we set our dog-proof traps, and we caught several coons, and sure enough, that did the trick, because it wasn't long the hogs started coming back. I even got some dirt from third base where they had been leaving their scent and spread it around in the door. And when the moon was right, we decided we'd go ahead and set the trigger. And sure enough, there's a sounder. It's been coming in there. It's got, I don't know, 10 or 12 piglets and probably 10 or 12 kind of adults, young adults, older adults. And they were getting used to the trap, coming and going. And we knew, man, it's time to set the trigger and see if we can't catch us something. So we went ahead and set it and hoped the coons wouldn't get into it. Sure enough, this young boar gets into that little pinch point right there. He gets that string up on his back, and he makes one wrong move, and it shuts the doors on him. And then all bedlam starts breaking loose at that point. We didn't catch the whole sounder, but we got 3 or 4 good-sized adults and a few teenagers, and I think it was 6 piglets out of that group. So that one boar, he wanted a piece of me, I'm pretty sure. But Jonathan got up in the blind and got the little 17 HMR, and we started knocking them down. Anyway, that's when the work began, so we started hauling them on out. We were fortunate to have Jonathan there to help us, because I think he's in his late 30s or early 40s maybe, and we're past 60. John's pushing 70, so we were thankful to have some help to get him up in the truck.
1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember those 2 right there?